My beautiful people, this is Deborah Wilson, also known as Seer Junda from Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and you are listening to the SSW Network.
Star Wars action figures collection, each sold separately.
He found out that Vader was his father, too.
Millennium Falcon that you put together. Batteries not included.
We pushed you over the edge, Chris.
Come to the dark side. Come to the dark side. We have alcohol.
We're in trouble. Let's get out of here.
I'm an asshole, just so everybody knows.
One by droid. Show me what you got.
It's R5D4 and the Power Droid.
No.
Action figures each sold separately.
And may the Force be with you always.
Well, welcome to Force Connect, the live Friday night Star Wars fan talk show. I'm Pete Flitzer. I'm one of your hosts. We have a collection of hosts this evening. Some coming, some going. Starting with coming and going. Festive Nick, how are you doing, buddy? You're not in your normal place.
I am not at all in my normal place. In fact, I am at my real life day job. It is my company Christmas party this evening. I'm in my office where I do my work, and most of the time text you about nonsense that we talk about on a daily basis while I'm attempting to be a responsible grown-up. But
yes,
there's a quick lull in the party. I had the opportunity to run into my office, close the door, pop in for just a second to say hello, happy Darth Simber,
yes.
Happy Sithmas, all the excellent things that are going on. And that's really it. Like, I'm not here to hang out. You've got an amazing guest host. You've got Chris coming in. You've got our friend Lloyd hanging out. Like, you don't need me to have a fantastic Force Connect Friday night. There he is right there. My man Lloyd. What's up, brother?
What's up, buddy?
I'm looking into getting you a gun that shoots lightsabers, Nick.
Hey, bring it. I'll use it every day of my life.
I know you will.
Especially at work, actually. It's very timely.
Well, Nick, thank you for popping in. Enjoy the rest of your holiday extravaganza.
I will try my best. I know you've got a toast from me coming up, but because I am at work and drinking because it's work, holiday, Christmas party things, I'll do a second toast or first toast, whatever it is. It's a toast. Cheers. Love you guys. Great to see you. Can't wait to hang out next week.
Happy Sithmas. We'll see you then. Cheers.
Oh, crap. I forgot to.
All right. Well, I'm going to bring in our guest host. We do have Chris is on the way. Allegedly, I don't know what's happening in Philadelphia, but let me bring in our special guest here. You know him, you love him, Darth Choco. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing great. I'm a little bummed because my Stein broke, so I'm drinking beer out of this tall mug. But
well, at least you're drinking beer. That's a step in the right direction now.
Top of the morning to you as well, I guess.
How's it going? How are things? Thank you so much for joining us tonight as a special guest host. As you can see, Nick is out doing his thing tonight, but we got a lot of stuff going on. Tonight, we're going to try to chat through a bunch of different conversations. We'll probably try to get to sort of some Christmas holiday Star Wars connections, but we also want to talk a little bit about some Ahsoka related stuff, including some conversations with, we just keep getting better and better all the time because here's Chris Ryans joining the party. You guys are making this an editing nightmare for me, just so you know. But that's going to be just fine. Chris, how are you doing?
Pete, gosh darn it, I'm doing great.
That's all we can ask for. That's all we can ask for.
Lloyd.
Yes, sir.
That's all I got.
All
Choco. Right. What's up, bro?
How you doing?
Chilling.
I am so excited to have this group of people here tonight. So, but we got a lot to get to. First of all, another thing that's really important is we are kicking off the 4 weeks of Sithmas. We are going to be giving away a Force Connect Sithmas package once a week. And there's a couple things you got to do. But before we get to that, of course, it wouldn't be Force Connect if we didn't have one of these things.
On the first week of Sithmas, a Jedi gave to me a slash right across my belly. On the second week of Sithmas, a Jedi gave to me a two-bladed saber and a slash right across my belly. On the third week of Sithmas, a Jedi gave to me 3 pairs of spider legs, a two-bladed saber, and a slash right across my belly. On the fourth week of Sithmas, a Jedi gave to me a 4-issue comic, 3 pairs of spider legs, a two-bladed saber, and a slash across my belly. There is no 5th week of Sithmas, but you can plainly see a 4-issue comic, 3 pairs of spider legs, a two-bladed saber, and a slash right across my belly.
So we are doing Sithmas. We are doing it. We're doing it right. Oh wait, Chris.
Hold on a second. Did I destroy my throat? Screaming
afraid you were gonna
Kenobi
I
at
was
the
afraid.
top of my lungs
I was,
for nothing. Is that what happened?
well, it was an editing choice, I believe, is what I had to do with that, and I apologize for that. I mean, your Kenobi was pretty good, but I had to make an editing choice. I hope you don't mind. For those of you wondering, that amazing Darth Maul impression was one Mr. Chris Ryan's. You seem disappointed, Chris. You seem upset with me. I'm sorry. I mean, this is no way to start the Sithmas holiday. You know, it's like family. You know, little
I
disappointed.
didn't know that was you. That was awesome. That was really good.
Now we just have to have Sam Witwer in here, and then you guys have a Kenobi off
Kenobi up.
just to see what happens.
Just to see what happens. All right, so here's how you can win on the Sithmas celebration here. I'm going to bring up a graphic because that's what you do. So every week we're going to give you a hashtag that you have to put both in the comments here while you're watching the show, and you got to go to social media and you have to share this episode with that keyword, and you have to tag the SSW network, and you get some extra entries if you tag your friends, right? As you do. And the winner will be chosen at the end of the episode. So stick around and watch and see if you won. So what I need you all to do right now is use the hashtag Happy Sithmas, as you see there. Type it in the comments here in YouTube or Facebook, wherever you're watching. Share this episode on your socials with Happy Sithmas as a hashtag, and tag the SSW network, tag your friends, and a winner will be selected at the end of the episode. Does that make sense? Is that confusing? It feels like it might be a little confusing.
I mean, you're good.
Yeah, is that good? All right, so just go ahead and do that. But yeah, so we got a lot going on tonight. As I was saying, we are going to be we're joined by Darth Choco as our special guest host. Before we go to our first break, we always do a toast. And as Nick had referenced, he's not here with us tonight, but he still has a toast. So I'm going to see if we can tune him back in here. Hold on a second.
Oh, hello there, friends. I'm sorry I can't be with you this evening, but as you can tell, I'm in festive work holiday party mode. But I couldn't let an opportunity to go by without raising a glass, raising a toast, sharing, again, in the fun that we like to have here at Force Connect with our silly little drinking game. So I'm sorry to say that Snookvember is over. We had a fabulous Snooktoberfest, only filled with the slightest little hiccup, controversy, call it what you will. But I decided we're going to keep the fun going because have you met me? That's what I do. I'm fun all the time. And it's time for, that's right, you guessed it, Darth Simber. This is going to be a Darth Simber to remember. And as if that wasn't enough, we have a clip. It's Darth Simber. I'm raising my glass to all of you. Sorry I couldn't be with you tonight. I know that Pete and Chris and Choco are going to have a wonderful time hanging out, talking to you. But I'm here. It's a Darth Simber to remember. So In we go. You know how this works. Cheers. Happy Force Connect, happy Star Wars, and happy Darth.
When I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master.
Only a master beer.
There we go. Once again, happy Darth Simber.
Nick recorded that ahead of time, but it seems like I think he practiced a couple before he shot that video.
No,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
No.
I know it's shocking. It's shocking.
You know, why? What does he have against action figures? Like, why does he have this need to destroy? He can just drink. He can just drink.
We've seen that. We know he can do it. I just
Oh yes.
Darth Choco, have you ever done the Snoketoberfest or the Snokovember or the?
No, I've never. I'm curious what y'all can come up with for January. Is there a January?
Oh, I have one. I actually have one. Do you want to hear what it is? Ready?
Oh yeah.
Jan Dodonna Urari. I mean, that's a little bit of a stretch, and there's probably no General Dodonna action figures for him to put in.
Yeah, there
are. Of course there are. What am I, crazy? Did I lose track of what Star Wars is all about? My goodness.
Everyone's got a figure.
Everybody's got one. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, we're going to take our first break, and when we come back, Darth Choco, we are going to talk about Sabine and Force sensitivity, and I'm excited.
Are you a fan of the SSW network? Do you like merchandise that borders on copyright infringement? Then you're going to love the all-new SSWNetworkShop.com. Featuring t-shirts, long-sleeve shirts, jackets, sweatshirts, and most designs are available as stickers, mugs, and Pilsner glasses. Proudly show the world that you're a shill, or that you have a favorite Star Wars podcast, or that you love jizz. You know, the Cantina music from the first movie. So head on over to www.theSSWNetwork, click on merchandise, and you'll be taken straight to our store. There's more than 40 designs to choose from, and if you use the code SHILL15 now, you'll get 15% off your entire order. Buying merchandise from the SSW Network shop is a great way to support your favorite content creators, as well as tell the world that, hey, you're a shill too. Head on over to the SSWNetwork.com, click merchandise, and use code SHILL15 to get your merchandise today.
And we are back on Force Connect. It's been a little bit of a crazy start to the show. It's Friday night, though. We all got a drink in our hand. I am joined by Chris Ryans and our special guest host, Darth Choco. So, hey, there was we're gonna jump right into some. It's not really controversy. It's sort of perception and conversation that we're seeing a lot of online. And Choco sent me a note on this earlier tonight. This week, there was an interview that dropped with Dave Filoni, and Dave made the reference that that everybody has the potential to be a Jedi. Everybody, because the question came up about Sabine and where that goes. Darth, I'm going to throw to you. Let's start the conversation. What piece of this did you want to grab hold of and have a conversation about? Because it is an interesting thing. And the way Dave had put it in the interview, which was also part of the Dagobah Dispatch podcast for EW, he positions it in kind of an interesting way. But let me turn it to you.
Yeah, I saw the conversation popping off, and I saw how many people were jumping into it. And the thing that struck me first and foremost was kind of this like revisionist history. I don't know about you, but I remember everyone being mad that midichlorians came out.
Oh, I was one of them at the time. Yeah,
because from 1977 till 1999, everyone knew that the Force went through everyone, and that anyone could wield the Force, and they thought midichlorians meant that wasn't true.
Right.
Now, they're mad for the. I don't know. I don't know. It's weird to me. Yeah, I'm curious. Where you guys land on it. Just real quick. Personally, I love it. And I think both. I don't think either concept contradict each other. Like you can. I always like to think of the Force as in music, right? And someone who has a high metachlorine count, well, that's someone who has a lot of rhythm, just naturally.
Yep.
Anyone can learn how to play music. Anyone can learn how to sing. Anyone can learn how to play guitar.
Mhm.
Why doesn't everyone do it? Because it takes time. It takes practice. Is everyone going to learn at the same rate? No. Some people naturally gifted with this or that. Like it's I don't know. It's not a hard concept for me.
I agree. Chris, where are you coming in on this?
No, I'm pretty much the same way. Like the midi chlorians didn't piss me off. Back in '99 because from what I could tell, the midi chlorians were more like a translator to see how strong with the force someone is. So that never bothered me. Yeah, and it's quick. It's weird how quickly people forget the lines from these movies that they say they love so much when Obi-Wan says it in the first movie. The force flows through all living things. If it does, that means you can either wield it or you're just not in tune enough to maybe you're using it on the subconscious level, whatever. But maybe if you're just not tapped in, you can't use it. But no, the force flows through everyone. So when the Sabine thing happened, I was like, huh, okay. And then I thought back to her training with Kanan. I was like, yeah, I could kind of, to a degree see it then too. So yeah, why not? Why not? If you train at it, everyone's got the ability to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Without needles. But lifting weights and keeping with the regimen and everything, training, all that stuff, you can do it to a degree.
Yep.
So I'd say that's the same with the Force. Why not? And it's not so much everyone can be a Jedi, not a Jedi, as far as like being a part of that religion goes. But as a Force wielder of some kind on any kind of level, why not?
Yep. Well, and I think the concept of it being a skill that you really have to work at. I think the musician comment is spot on. I also think I look at it like professional athletes as well, right? It's this, not everybody, just because you can throw a football doesn't mean that you're going to be an NFL quarterback. It just means that you have that affinity. Everybody's got that basic skill set. I think what's interesting though too is, let's go to the midichlorians, because I am totally with you. I was well, not with you, but I was one of those people when the midichlorians thing happened, because I was old school. I was 7 years old when A New Hope came out. I was also, in hindsight, I say it all the time, I fully regularly admit that I was not necessarily the biggest fan of the prequels when they first hit. It took me a while to get through to it. And midichlorians was one of those things that kind of struck me as strange. That being said, you're right. It's one of those, it's like the line where people say, it's the energy field that goes through all living things. It's definitely there, and Dave made reference to it.
Yeah. And then another question that I saw popping up is like, well, then what does this mean for the Jedi? If any kid could have been taken to become a Jedi,
right?
Then what are they doing? And then my answer is just like you said with athletes. Like there's a reason that that
football scouts.
Yeah, there's a reason only the top kids get scouted for colleges, and then for high schools, for colleges, and then beyond. Everything does that. You know what I mean? The college scholarships. There's kids who sing and dance who go to special schools. It's if you have the natural gift now, and then you do all the training on top of that. A lot of people can be in tune with the Force. Not everyone can be Anakin Skywalker. And one of the things I loved about the book Catalyst by James Luceno is we find out that Jin's mom naturally feels the Force. She can't do nothing with it. She could probably train and feel it more. But no, she's not she's not going to be challenging Obi-Wan for the high ground anytime soon.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And again, you go back to the sports analogy. I talk about golf all the time, right? Because I suck at golf. I used to play much more than I should, and I still sucked at it, but I enjoyed it. There's no way I could ever take down Tiger, but I certainly would enjoy the opportunity to play with him. But there certainly would never be a chance that I would beat him, because there's that natural ability. There's the hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of practice that go into it. What are your thoughts on Sabine as a character and the choice to make her Ahsoka's apprentice?
I had mixed feelings about it until I kind of picked up on what Dave was doing, and then it got confirmed in the interview recently, which, by the way, if you haven't listened to it, go check it out.
go
It's a
do it. Yep.
phenomenal interview. Sabine shares a lot of qualities with Anakin, right? She's very hot-headed. She's going to run into danger, rebellious, stubborn, all of these things. And so it's interesting to give Ahsoka this Padawan that reminds her of Anakin, but is on the opposite end of the spectrum. But she still has that fear. This person is prone to anger. She will fight back.
Yep.
If she goes too far, will she turn to the dark side too?
Yeah.
I think that's I feel like the decision to make her the Padawan was based off of the personality. And so they're like, well, how do we do that? We'll make her start to learn how to use the Force. I feel like that came after, but I'm in. I'm game.
Yeah. Chris, you had something to say on that?
No, well, just to piggyback off of that, like, like Ahsoka's reason, because I was just watching, I did a rewatch of Ahsoka over the past week or so, and her Ahsoka's reasoning for not training her, just like she had with Grogu, like once she saw what happened to Anakin and why it happened to Anakin, that fear of letting something like that happen again, like it happened with Luke in The Last Jedi, is very strong. It's very strong. I just want to piggyback off of that and just bring that part to light. I love that, and I that's just good stroke of storytelling right there.
And I would add to that I think it's interesting that the choice of Sabine, I don't really know that you can be surprised, or fans can be surprised if they watched Rebels and recognize that you saw the challenge that Din Djarin had even picking up the Darksaber. You heard all the training that that Kanan gave to her, and she had that sort of natural affinity for it. She's a warrior, and again, it's that concept of the Force is flowing through all living things. She picked it up, and I think it's also an interesting option, and I'd love to get your thoughts on this. As Star Wars evolves, as we go into that post Return of the Jedi world, where you have the concept, the thinking of, again, I'm still struggling with some Rise of Skywalker stuff, but Broom Boy and this feeling that anybody can use the Force, and that the rules of the Force need to be, or of the Jedi rather, need to be sort of reevaluated. And so if somebody like Sabine is showing some dark side tendencies, or at least that potential to go there, the Jedi Council probably would have said no to her, right? I think the Jedi Council would have said, she's not ready. She's the wrong one. She's carrying a personality that's going to hurt her and hurt the Jedi. And so as we go into post Return of the Jedi, as we go into the Rey era of films, which hopefully will be coming sooner than later, do you think we're going to see sort of a reevaluation of what the rules of being a Jedi are?
For me, I really hope that we get that explored on both sides of it, because I'm a massive fan of the expanded universe as well, and you had people in the expanded universe that didn't think the same way attachment wise, depending on your understanding of attachments. but the end result was Jason bringing the galaxy to its knees for attachment, and then turning Tahiri Vela against everyone by wielding her attachment against her. And then you had Luke almost falling back to the dark side because of his attachment. So like that was a whole side of it. But at the end of the day, the ultimate meaning of Star Wars is that we are our choices. We're not we are our who we are now is based off of our next choice, our current choice, what we're doing right now. You're not your family, you are not their sins. And even if you have a dark past, you've made mistakes, you can always do better than what you were just doing. And so that's in there too. So I think this could be explained on both sides. We also got a little bit of this in the High Republic with phase 2 as well. We got to see what happens if, siblings where one is force sensitive and the other not so much, and how that can affect things. There's so many cool things to explore. I just need us to get out of this time period so we can explore it.
Yeah. No, but it's interesting too that you're, at the end of the day, Star Wars has really always been about choices and about the impact of those choices. And I think the Jedi and the Force and that sort of dogma has always been sort of an underlying sort of challenge to the heroes of the story. And I've said this before too, and your thoughts on this would be great, is that in the 70s and early 80s, when Star Wars first hit and the concepts were being explored, it was a different world. It was a black and white world, right? It was the good guys versus the bad guys. And in hindsight, the rebels are essentially a terrorist organization trying to take down a fascist government. And that's in 1977. That's a nice, easy delineation. And you root for the rebels. By the time we get to Andor and we get to Rogue One, we're seeing that it's not easy decisions and it's not cut and dried. And now, if you then extend that through to the lessons of The Last Jedi, which was that the Jedi, ultimately felt at a time that they the Force was theirs and they had an obligation that was not realistic. I think that that's what we're seeing in the storytelling. And I think I'm, it's interesting to watch I was saying just this morning that the Luke Skywalker Last Jedi conversation was coming up again in Twitter, and it was silly to even see it again. But we're in that spot where what drove him to do what he did was just being a human being. Whereas again, I think 70s and 80s, our heroes, the Superman, the Clark Kent that we got from the 1978 Superman is very different than the Superman that we've gotten over the last couple of years. Just simply, it was more easily delineated evil versus good. So I don't know if am I reading too much into that, or do you think it's part of the way stories are told now?
Yeah, shades of gray all over the place, man.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I kind of think of it almost as like a coming full circle, because Luke Skywalker is a mythological figure, right? When I had someone say he should always be good because he's a mythological figure, but if you read a lot of mythological figures, they don't always end up in great places.
Right.
And so I really enjoyed the concept of exploring that downfall, because while I do think the Jedi are cut and dry good, they don't do anything out of malice or ill will. I think they weren't perfect, and they doesn't mean that they can't be improved, and that they shouldn't be changed. I think a big part of that is whether or not you really think of them as a religion or as space samurai, where that's your role, your job, that if you're not up to the task, you quit and you do something else.
Right.
I do think that's it's important to explore those choices, though, because even the people who are the best, the people who are on top, still have to make the right choice every day. Just because, Luke, I saved Vader, the darkest guy around, killed many people, all this stuff. Man, that means that Kylo Ren should be easy to help, right? No, that's not how that works. You reached Vader because you were his son, because you were a specific person, because of your relationship with him. Doesn't matter how dark he was. Doesn't matter what he had done before in the past. That's like getting a beautiful girl's number and thinking, well, every girl that's less attractive than that I automatically get it. That's not how it works. It's not a video game,
Right.
And I love that we get to explore that.
That's great. Chris, any final comments on this?
Well, I mean, honestly, I think Choco hit it, man. But I know, as far as seeing the Force explored more, like whenever Rey's NJO happens, I will hope that they get a little looser with I guess admittance into the order.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want people to be shunned, or they have to. I don't know what they go through if someone refuses to become a part of the Jedi Order and they're just Force users running around. I would hope that people can just freely explore the Force on their own without any kind of Jedi intervention or anything like that. I hope that's the case when these stories start.
Yeah,
you want a bunch of Elzar Mans running around?
Oh, well.
It sounds entertaining. I could do with a bunch of Orla Juranis running around though. So.
Oh yes, yeah, absolutely.
We're gonna have intramural Jedi squads running around, just not fully trained, really excited to do the Force stuff, not quite good enough to go pro.
Force users who are like, maybe they're not like fighting like the way the Jedi do when they have to fight or anything like that, or the Sith. But people Force sensitive who don't use it for attack or defense or anything like that. And they're like, I think I was saying to you last week, Pete, like how Poe Dameron is like he's a great pilot,
right?
That's him tapping into the Force without knowing. Like, people who are just fantastic at certain things, that's the Force flowing through them. I would hope there's something like that is explored more.
Well, there's always been
maybe it has in the EU. I don't know. But,
there's been sort of that fan theory that Han Solo had sort of Force sensitivity without even touching it, right? The way he flew through flew through the asteroid field, the way he had he was the first to say I have a bad feeling about this, right? And so it's kind of
that's the case in Chewie also, because Chewie's a great pilot.
Hey, he's a living thing too. Maybe he had it.
Okay, but Starkiller Base, I actually that actually drove me crazy when I saw the Force Awakens for the first time. To go in past the planetary shield, but able to stop before hitting the planet at hyperspace. That always really bothered me, but I never said it because I was like, I don't want the wrong people to take that and run with it. But it was Han Solo, so they don't care.
Right. It's the Falcon itself that has the wield the Force.
Maybe L3
just open up a whole new thing. Yep,
that's it. New theory, new fan theory. L3 is Force sensitive, and now that she's a part of the Falcon, that's how it all happened. Before we get in more trouble with this kind of line of thinking, we're going to take our next break. When we come back, we want to talk about your sort of favorite Star Wars holiday traditions. We are now in the holiday season. We want to hear from you. We want to see them in the chat. We also, remember, go share this episode while this little commercial break runs. Share this episode with the hashtag Happy Sithmas, and we'll pick a winner at the end of the episode. And also in the chat, tell us if you want to know what the gift is before we send it out, or if you want to be surprised. So tell us that in the chat. Put Happy Sithmas in the chat, and more importantly, share this episode on all your social media, and we will pick a winner at the end of the episode. But we'll be right back after these messages with more Force Connect. And we are back. Happy Sithmas to everybody. And remember to share this episode with the hashtag Happy Sithmas for a chance to win. What should we tell them what it is? I mean, it'll be a little prize pack. We're going to do one every week. All right, I'll show this week. So maybe this will get people to share it. Share it. Get some more people hanging out with this thing in a second. This is from what year was this, Chris? This was like 2 years ago, right?
A couple years back. Yep.
Yeah. So
yeah, probably like 3 years back.
I need it.
You need it. Okay. Well, Darth Choco, go share this episode with the hashtag Happy Sithmas. I do have to say, so nobody's surprised, the top packaging is not in perfect condition. It is not a perfect condition A+ version, but you'll get this. You'll get some a handful of just whatever junk we have laying around that says Force Connect or Around the Galaxy or SSW Network on it. We're going to send some stuff out to you. But you got to go share this episode. You got to get your friends to join us. You got to put Happy Sithmas. It's harder to say than it is to type. You got to put it in the chat here, and then you also have to go and share it somewhere on the social media world. So yeah. So with that, we are talking holidays. We are now in the holiday season. I can't believe it's December 1st. What the hell happened? We are in Darthcember. But for a lot of people, when we do Around the Galaxy and we interview our guests and we start to talk a little bit about where that Star Wars tradition comes from, what is their Star Wars memories? And many of them are related to family. And while Star Wars wasn't always a holiday time of year film, it definitely had Star Wars memories and Star Wars or holiday memories and holiday traditions. Before we get into it, do you guys, Darth or Chris, either of you have any holiday traditions that are Star Wars related?
I mean, outside of them releasing the movies in December, back in 2015.
Well, yeah, but I think that let's go into that one, because I think, to me, I feel like that's an emptiness right now without those movies coming out in the holiday season.
Yeah, I kind of do. I mean, I miss movies coming out in May, and I miss in December. I just miss movies coming out.
Yeah.
I really like that to start happening again.
That would be nice. Be nice. But yeah, so it was becoming certainly a holiday. I mean, literally, there were multiple years in a row there where I would go see it, probably myself with my neighbor across the street on the Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
I'd buy tickets throughout the entire weekend, and then on the Saturday version, it was me, my wife, my kids, and my wife's brother and his wife and his son, and we would go to the mall. We'd see the Star Wars movie. We'd shop. We'd hang out. We'd do the whole holiday thing, and I really missed that. It felt like the sequel trilogy feels like a Christmas movie. I put up a poll on Twitter last week, I think it was, is The Force Awakens a Christmas movie to you? And to me it is, and because it captured that particular holiday season.
And the end and the snow and stuff is just, I don't know, it does just carry the vibes for it. I said for myself, what we would do is just the basic thing where we would watch either A New Hope or Return of the Jedi for New Year's, and I would have the Death Star blow up at midnight exactly.
Really?
We did deviate from that one year. We watched Infinity War, which it was so depressing because we had the snap happen at midnight, and then just nothing good happens after that point, and you're just depressed for the rest of the night. And then that was also the year COVID happened, and we're like, did we do this? Was this us?
If anybody's curious, it was Choco's fault that we got.
Way to go, man.
my bad. That, and also while I was living up in Portland, my good friend and I, Joel, we drink a lot and watch a holiday special, and you would hear us singing "One More Round, Friends."
So you watch the holiday special on a regular basis. We just did, and I can plug our own shows. We just did an interview with Kyle Newman and Adam F. Goldberg and Jeremy Kuhn, who did the behind the scene, or not the behind the scenes, but the documentary about the holiday special. you said you've watched it on your own multiple times. Chris, have you watched the holiday special all the way through, and how often? Because I know the answer is at least once. It's got
Yeah,
to
I've
be.
watched it. I've watched it a couple times.
I've never seen a sober.
I mean, don't ask me what happened. I was out of my mind. But no, yeah. I've watched it a few times. I've watched it.
Yeah. It's hard to watch. It is
So
really
much
hard to watch.
cocaine.
So much went on that. I, honestly, and I'm
So
not
much
saying this just
cocaine.
because we had the guys on the show. If you get a chance to watch, they're spot on. Adam F. Goldberg said it correct, because I was saying, well, you should see the movie before you watch your documentary. And he's like, no, don't do that to yourself. He's like, watch the documentary. You get all the important parts, and you get the story behind why it happened and what happened there. So
I also imagine that if you got that backstory of how, then it becomes more of a fascination. Like you would enjoy watching it more because you're
Yeah.
like, oh, this is why this is happening. And
yeah.
I haven't seen, I didn't realize the documentary was out already. So,
So
I will-
it's out December 5th. So you can, and they are also doing some there's some screenings around the country. So maybe in a theater near you. But it's
That'd be awesome.
yeah, it'll be out on Amazon on December 5th. So there you go. See, here I'm plugging for my guests weeks afterwards. That's the way it goes. But other holiday traditions. I mean, I always think of whenever I think of Christmas, and in our house when I was a kid, we did the Christmas thing, and it was always Star Wars gifts. It was always Star Wars toys.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, I know you were big on the Christmas Star Wars toy situation. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I mean, yeah, every Christmas, from I guess the age of 2 or 3, well, 3 when the figures really started coming out in '78, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when the figures started coming out.
Yep, 77. We did not make it. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, around from 3 years old to mid '80s, or late '80s, depending. Yeah, for me, Christmas was a deluge of Star Wars toys under the tree.
Yep.
For me.
Yep.
Yeah, just I remember back in 80, 81 playing with the AT-AT for the first time. The AT-AT, Pete.
The AT-AT, the AT-AT?
The AT-AT, right.
Wait a second. Chaco.
Oh, here we go. He's
Is
going to
it
say
AT-AT
AT-AT.
or is
He's
it
young.
AT-AT?
He's young. He's going to say AT-AT. It's fine.
But I'm on the cusp though. I'm younger, but I'm what do you call special editions age?
Okay.
Mhm.
So I'm in the middle. But yeah, AT-AT.
Hey, in the commercials they called it AT-AT. I call it AT-AT.
I'm just saying it doesn't translate across. You don't say
True.
"atst."
No,
so I just try to be
Scout
consistent.
That's the Scout Walker.
You mean the Chicken Walker?
No, the Scout Walker. What are you talking about?
No, I mean what I said.
I But yeah, I had like great memories with my AT-AT outside, like in the snow. So they got the thing for Christmas.
Yes,
and playing with it in the snow, like that's where it should be. Yeah, just a lot of great memories. Yeah, for sure.
What about you, Chaco? You were on the cusp. So where was the Star Wars Christmas toy line for you?
I didn't. I honestly I didn't fully embrace everything Star Wars, at least toy wise, until later. I mean, I had every Ninja Turtle, and I had so many Street Sharks. I don't know why I had
Street Sharks. Wow.
I was always massive fan of the movie, and I had my my a handful of them, but that wasn't the biggest thing for me. Back then I was more playing basketball or music or skateboarding.
Yeah. So the holiday traditions, and for you, are mostly around the sequels, I would guess then.
Yeah, I mean, once we started getting the December releases and stuff, then that we had a blast with those.
Cool, very cool. Well, you know what? We want to hear from you. I'm going to put the link in the chat when we take this break. So you have two things to do when we take this break. Number one, you got to go share this episode. You got to go put it on social media with the hashtag Happy Sithmas if you want to win the Yeti version of Chewbacca, and not the Yeti cup, but the white furry monster version. And when we come back, we're going to start taking your calls. We want to hear from you about your Star Wars holiday traditions. Where does Star Wars fall for you as far as a non-denominational year-end holiday tradition? So we'll be back in just a minute with more Force Connect.
Revenge of the Sith acting challenge. I play Obi-Wan, you play Anakin. You're the blue line.
No.
Let's go.
No.
You were the chosen one.
No, this is a FaceTime call, buddy. I think
It was said that you would destroy the Sith, not join them.
No, you definitely have the wrong number.
Bring balance to the Force, not leave it in darkness.
I'm not even sure what you're talking about, but thank you for calling. Check who you're trying to call. You got the wrong number, and don't be so upset about it. I'm sorry. You just have the wrong number. It happens. It's happened.
You were my brother, Anakin.
No, I'm not even Anakin, and I don't know who you are.
I loved you.
Oh, hey, easy. Listen, I don't feel the same way. No, don't do that. Don't do that. No, I'm so sorry. I hope you find who you're trying to call, though. Wait, where are you going?
And we're back, and I realized that I did not put the link in the comments, and I will do that right now. We are back, and we are talking about Star Wars holiday traditions as we enter the magical month of Darthcember, and we prepare for our own holiday traditions. Want to talk a little bit about that? You know, it's funny. I've told this story before, but I think it's really it's very telling. As I mentioned, we had gone, on a regular basis to see whatever the Star Wars movie of the year was, and right around the time that but was it it was The Rise of Skywalker was when Mando was happening, right? And I remember walking out of the theater with my my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law who was just sort of a passing Star Wars fan at best. As we walked out of the theater, we were all talking about the movie, and she said, I thought there was a baby Yoda in this movie. And so, but just that sort of concept that at that time, Mando and even some of the Star Wars, the existing Star Wars live action stuff seems to be hitting in that time frame as well. Gotta ask you guys thoughts on Skeleton Crew being pushed till next year holiday time. That's the latest rumor. Do we think that's going to happen? Do you think it's the right it's an accurate rumor? What does anybody think on that?
As long as I get it. You know me.
Yeah, I'm largely in the same boat. The thing that was strange, though, and correct me if I'm wrong, but at Star Wars Celebration Anaheim, they came out on stage and they're like, hey, we finished shooting Skeleton Crew, and everyone's like, what is that?
Right. Yeah.
So does that mean there's like a ton of CG or a ton of other stuff that's going into it? I don't know what that means. I don't know. Hopefully that means that it has some strong direction behind it, and that they are really keeping the story tight, and they're not just gonna throw it out there.
Eric Brown just put on here, and it's an interesting point that the bigger question might be is, were there heavy reshoots needed? I don't necessarily, not again, people take the words reshoot, right, and they immediately put it into this negativity. It means there was something wrong with it. But we now have Dave Filoni as the head of story for all intents and purposes. I mean, Pablo's still the guy there, but he's head of, what was it, the chief creative officer, right? So he's got to make sure all these stories work. So maybe there are some adjustments that need to be made. And also, frankly, and I know Chris doesn't want to hear it, but 5 Star Wars series, which are allegedly in the can and ready to go. I saw today somebody said that would be 44 weeks of Star Wars content.
So
I don't I have a theory. My theory is that Skeleton Crew, what we'll get next year, here's what I'm thinking. I think we'll get Bad Batch season 2 next, or season 3 rather next. I think that's the next thing that comes out. I think after that we're going to get Acolyte, because they pushed it very hard in London. They're ready to go with that. Plus it helps expand interest in High Republic. I think after that we get Tales of the Jedi season 2, probably sometime over the summer, and then we end the year with Skeleton Crew. Especially if it's kid related, I think they can do some really fun holiday-ness with that. And then Andor comes in 25.
Sure.
That's
no Visions.
Oh, I'd love to see Visions season 3. I liked Visions 1. Visions 2 really, that to me had some of the coolest stories, just because it was so all over the place culturally, and just the way they tied into Star Wars. I'd love to see Visions 3, but I don't think we've heard much about that, have we? If anything. But hey,
yeah, that French one made my wife just bawl.
Which one? Oh, the French one. Oh my gosh, yeah. And to me, the one with the I can't think of any of the names of them now, but the one with the cave and the girl who goes with the Sith Lord. Yeah, holy cow, that just like that sucked the life out of me. I was like, oh my gosh, she's going with the Sith Lord. What's going on? That's not right. It's not the way Star Wars works. But yeah, so hey, so we want to hear from you. We have put the link in the chat if you want to share with us what your Star Wars tradition is, your Star Wars memories are. We're going to give you 2 minutes on the clock, and we are going to start with our very first caller of the night.
Keep your eyes open, huh?
Hello there.
There he is, Eric Elliott in the house. Honest to Claude, he's got the merch, he's got the shirt.
Check out Claude Offshore, which is a compilation of my appearances on different shows.
Yes, I saw that. It was a wonderful commercial for Force Connect. We really appreciate it. It was great. So, hey, I'm going to put the timer up on the clock, or the clock up on the whatever on the screen. Look, I've had a couple of these whiskeys, and we want to hear from you, Eric. What is some of your Star Wars either memories or traditions during the holidays?
See, when Christmas hits, I get Christmas, stuff, toys, books, whatever, because people know I'm a Star Wars fan. But I got something more important to talk about. I have a conspiracy. Okay, are you listening?
I think so.
Without Claude,
target.
Without Claude, the Resistance fails in Rise. They will repeat that. Without Claude, the Resistance fails, and I can explain why. Okay.
Go.
Do you remember back into Rise of Skywalker? Right before we have the moment of light speed skipping, we get the message from Boolia from the spy. That's
win the
tough,
war.
right?
Yep.
Okay, so we get that. Good. We also have important characters on this ship. We have Chewbacca, we have Poe, we have Finn, we have R2-D2. Claude is the only one actually taking care of this ship and making sure that its hyperdrive works. So if he was not there, while they are all worried about all the other things being chased by TIE fighters, when they try to go to light speed skipping, the system would fail and they would crash into that giant worm creature or whatever else they go by. So that takes off a lot of characters, and we don't have the message in order to get us to the MacGuffins of the dagger and to the Sith Wayfinder. So they already set behind very much. We don't have the information we need to go to get to Pisana. We don't have the information where we need to go to Kijimi, because Poe is the only one that has any connection to that. So because we don't have those two things, we don't get the Citizens Fleet at the end. So even if they did show up Exegol, they don't have the Citizens Fleet, and they would fail, and they would lose 95% of the resistance in that battle.
Shut the f up.
Tell me how I'm wrong.
No,
okay, tell me how I'm wrong.
I don't necessarily think you're wrong. I just think we
that was horrible. Why did you do that?
Claude is the answer to all of this.
Claude
there you go.
Resistance. Okay, I mean, honestly,
Claude we trust.
What's the name of your podcast again?
Honest to Claude.
Right there, it is.
Well,
that was a nice ad.
I cannot disagree with with that. Although who knows what he was doing? He doesn't even have arms. So
Right.
He's a mechanic. He's an engineer. He was looking at the sparks. He did something to make sure it was working
wait
right.
a second. Maybe he is fluent in the Force, and he is the reason.
Sure.
Yeah. Maybe you just need to do one tendril, and then the cords start going into the right spot. You never know.
You just don't know. Choco,
He's a mysterious
and
plug
also,
dude.
to bring this back to the holidays, the way he's shaped, he makes a fantastic Christmas tree.
Right. You could hang some ornaments off those tendril things at the top of his head.
There it is. Oh, yeah.
There you go. Well, Eric, every week it gets more interesting, and I love it. And I'm so glad you called. Have an awesome week, dude, and hopefully we will see you next week.
Yep.
If I'm being honest, I hit the wrong button, but it worked.
I was like, damn.
It was. Oh man, he's not wrong, but nobody really knows enough about what the hell Claude is or was or did. So, I mean, there's a picture of Greg Grunberg talking to him. So,
also, I gotta say, with the Force, you have the wills, right? You have to. So you never know. You can't count anything out. Like you can say no, they wouldn't know where the MacGuffin is, but I mean, Luke almost died in the snow, and then Obi-Wan just showed up and told him exactly where to go.
Right.
If that's not Deus Ex Machina, I don't know what is.
well, and that's the whole
You
thing
never
with
know.
Star Wars. That, like, people who complain about anything in Star Wars, oh, there's bombs and gravity in space. Yeah, there's explosions in space, and there's space wizards who show up when your hero is about to die in the snow. So and look, Han should never have been able to find him in that snowstorm. The Tauntaun, there's so many things, guys. Just, you know what? When you watch Star Wars, you just gotta, as Elsa said, you gotta let it go.
I think
I just
whoever
gotta add-
made the Red 5 X-Wing,
Yeah,
that guy's the savior of the universe right there.
the guy who made the X-Wing.
Who made the Red 5 X-Wing, that guy. Or that team of engineers who made
Right.
that particular one.
Yes.
Without them,
There's a team of engineers somewhere where if they didn't meet their quota that one day, then that ship never. No.
right.
I also have to say, I don't know, the bombs in space thing. Just real quick, we watch a girl fall off a ladder in the ship because there's gravity in ships, and the bombs are in the ship. So like, I don't understand. Anyways.
Yeah. Oh, we could go off on that for days, and perhaps we will one day. But hey, we have another caller waiting to join us. So why don't we bring somebody?
Hello.
I can't follow that.
Yep. Welcome aboard, Sir Eric. So we cheers, my friend. So before we get started, I gotta ask, how's the holiday season beginning for you with the new little one around? I've been finding pictures as we get, Facebook does the reminders because I am old and I still have Facebook, and I see pictures of my kids during Christmas, those early Christmases. It's awesome to see. You having a good time with it so far?
Yeah. We put up the tree last weekend, and I've hijacked most of the tree for Star Wars figure or ornaments and whatnot. Those Hallmark ones that like speak to each other. It basically like plays out an abridged version of A New Hope. It's like a 13-minute sequence which interacts with the Death Star tree topper, and that thing is just so cool. But I got the Nubs Christmas ornament for my daughter to hang up, so that's her.
There you go.
Her favorite, yeah.
That's awesome. All right, I'm going to start the timer. Let's hear about some of your Christmas traditions, your Star Wars holiday traditions, rather.
I don't really have anything. That was pretty much it. that was anticlimactic, but that was it.
Well, I mean, the next question is like, now you got young ones that are going to be growing up. Do you plan to introduce anything into it?
New traditions.
Yeah. I mentioned last week the first thing we did the night she was born in April. We watched A New Hope on the iPad in the bed in the maternity ward. So
That's
so
imprinting. I love it.
yeah, she's getting indoctrinated early. But the one of the best things that I think Star Wars could have done was that Young Jedi Adventures show. So she loves the bright colors on that. So and Nubs is the best.
It's really interesting. The whole Young Jedi. I it's funny because my kids are like beyond that, and normally I'll watch anything Star Wars, but Resistance I had a little bit of issue with just because for whatever. And look, I watched it. I didn't love it, but whatever. It was Star Wars. I've watched some of the Young Jedi Adventures, and I think it's really cool. But it's really probably the most clearly targeted toward that. Obviously, I mean that's what Young Jedi Adventure. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And it's really on the one hand, like obviously I know it's not for me, and I can't. I mean, honestly, I will choose other things to watch other than that. But it's really cool to have Star Wars in that zone, in that age group.
Yeah.
So,
and they're telling awesome stories too. I mean, if you give it a shot, like it's something even adults can tolerate. Like my wife chuckles at some of this stuff and whatnot. It's cute.
And the High Republic fans are all over it because apparently there's the Starlight Beacon. Guys, you can't show that to 5-year-olds and then expect them to be happy.
Well, they had a good Life Day episode at the end of the first season that just ended. So
okay, cool.
They went to Kashyyyk and celebrated Life Day. So
let's keep all the nasty events of the High Republic just out of reach of those poor children. Because who knows when a leveler is going to look upon? Oh, that's terrible. No. Nice dusty nubs sitting on the. Oh, that's terrible.
No. Fried nubs. That's not good.
Fried nubs. No. And ashen.
Listen, I did this
Nubs
with Infinity War and I caused COVID. It's like,
no.
Let me stop right now.
Be careful.
Be careful. Well, Eric, thank you so much for joining us, my friend. We will see you next week, I hope. And happy Sithmas. Go post this episode so you can win some shit. All right. We'll see you soon.
Sithmas. See you.
And we are back. We do have one more caller to go, and then we'll probably call it a night. So let's bring in our next caller. If you guys are good with that, here we go.
Grief Karga said you were coming.
Always active in the chat, occasionally active on screen. There right now as a mystical SSW Network logo, voice only, TWMK. How are you doing? Good to see you tonight, or hear you.
Good to see you. Good to see Darth Choco with us tonight as well. Yes, I'm the faceless advertisement for the SSW Network.
We'll take it. I'm going to hit Shill of Shills. You know, I'm going to change that to just be Shill of the Shills. Shill of Shills, King of Kings. All right, I'm going to hit the timer. Let's hear from you. We're going to call it T-Dubs. What do you got for your Star Wars holiday traditions?
My holiday traditions began really with the sequel era because I really didn't have much of it other than occasionally getting, I was never an action figure kid. I was always more into getting like lightsabers and blasters and things like that.
Right.
So that and playing out that way. But I, especially since the sequel era happened, I used to go see, except for Solo because I'd moved that year. I saw every film in theaters with either friends or family a couple of times, and so that was always fun. And one thing I want to start doing ever since was it 2020 they put it out, the Lego holiday special?
Yes, that's and that's actually really
I love
fun.
that special. That is such a great special, and it's a lot of fun. And I'm like, It feels like one of those things where you could probably take about 4 things out of it, move it here and there, and you could probably make it vaguely canon. Like it's all just a vision, like it's not actual time travel.
Well, I feel like to me more than anything in that Lego special is the Jedi Finn. Like, just give us that.
Yeah.
Give us more of that.
That's
please.
all I want. That's
Yeah.
all I want out of the new Jedi Order movie is Jedi Finn, and I would be very excited for that.
Chris,
I don't want Jedi Finn anymore.
What? Why not?
I want a force sensitive badass Finn.
Okay,
That's what I want.
So you want him to like kind of
Be his
forge his own
thing.
thing?
I'm not a religious person. I'm not a religious person. I'm like, no, don't join in religion. Just be you and be awesome.
Be you
Nothing
and be
against
awesome.
anyone who's in the religion. I'm sorry.
No, I think that should be like the mantra for every religion. Be you and be awesome. I love it. That's good. You know what? There's our new T-shirt, Chris.
Awesome.
Chris, there's our new T-shirt.
I'm glad I could help.
Yeah.
Who foresaw Lego?
Yeah.
Who foresaw Lego dropping so many like just really solid things in all universes? Like it's so weird and random, but I love it.
And the fact that it could sow seeds for later things. I mean, heck, you have in Terrifying Tales, you have Dean as a character where Poe says, "Hey, there's a friend of mine I want you to meet." I'm like, "Hey, there's one Padawan. Let's go get the rest."
And I mean, it's the first on-screen appearance of Ren, right? The Ren, right? So with Christian Slater as the voice.
Slater,
it was amazing.
Right.
I love Lost
That
Boys.
was awesome.
I think I think we need more Lego Star Wars content. We absolutely do. Absolutely do.
Yes. Definitely more Freemakers.
Yeah.
I
was like, other than me, who is this for? Apparently everyone. It's fantastic.
It's wild. The Freemakers, man. I haven't watched all the Freemakers. I have to go. You know what? At least now I know. Until the next Star Wars project comes out, Freemaker. Let's do a Freemakers rewatch, and we'll do a whole thing on that. That would
I'd be
cool.
down for that.
That sounds fun.
So T-Dubs, thank you so much. Make sure to go share this so you can win a prize. And
Will do.
It's good talking to you, and hopefully we'll hear from you again soon.
Sounds good. Happy Sithmas, everybody.
Happy Sithmas. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't bring in Lloyd to get his Star Wars holiday traditions. I'm assuming you have many, perhaps one or two. I don't know.
No, actually.
Well, thanks for joining us, Lloyd. This has been great.
It's been great down here in Middle Earth. I'm good. No, I typically just I play through a couple games every year, right around this time. And that's about it.
Yeah,
and it's shocking. I'm about to blow your mind. None of it is KOTOR.
No, that's impossible.
No, I start off the new year with that.
Is one of them Jedi Academy though?
I played through the entire Jedi Outcast Jedi Knight series.
Wow.
Okay. Darth, listen. No, I do. I play through a lot of that, and that's kind of like my holiday thing. It's just something for me to kind of unwind. I don't want to deal with screaming kids because kids freak me out, and I don't want to deal with other family members because it's never a good time. And when I play that kind of stuff, it's I'm in my own world. So that's kind of what I do. I keep it kind of low key, and I can do whatever I want in those games versus I can't take a lightsaber to Aunt Bethany. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's
I don't have an Aunt Bethany. So it's just one of those things. Yeah, that's all I got.
All right. Well, good.
No, Brian, listen. None of it is KOTOR during December. So the bingo card is gone for that.
Really? Brian says, "Who else has Lloyd mentioned KOTOR in the bingo
card?" Because none of it.
Yes, but he mentioned it though. He mentioned it.
I did. And I wanted to mention it so hard during the early stage of the thing tonight when y'all were talking about the midichlorians thing, and I was so tempted to do the Boyle thing from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, where like one is reminded of Darth Nihilus from KOTOR 2. Yeah, I was so tempted, but I was like, nah, I'm gonna let this ride.
Well, the next time we do the buzzword bingo, we're gonna have to put KOTOR on there now that we got Lloyd with us every week.
Oh no, you don't have to. I promise.
Oh no, we do.
Oh crap.
We do.
Okay.
But
well,
wouldn't that just be the
it
free
only
spot?
gets better because I have that bad boy there, so it
there
only
you
gets
go.
better.
Now, do you have the Revan lightsaber?
So I did. It broke.
No, really?
And by it broke, I mean I broke it.
Going too hard.
The tree didn't stand a chance.
Oh my god, dude!
No, I didn't. No, I never had one. I wanted one so bad, but by the time I went to actually go get one, it were sold out, and I've never been able to find one since. But he's name dropped in The Rise of Skywalker at this point, so we might see one, hopefully, maybe at Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, could be.
So
Could very well
hopefully
be.
that'd be kind of cool.
Awesome.
But doubt. Press X for doubt.
Doubt. All right. So, well, thank you, Lloyd. I'm going to kick you out just for now. We're going to try to pick it. Yeah, so here's the deal, guys. I went to social media and didn't find that anybody shared the Happy Sithmas or the episode. So none of you get to win anything. And I'm kind of disappointed. However, I am going to ask Choco to pick a number here. Hang on a second. January. That's a good one, Skywalker's Academy. Okay. We need the Happy Sithmas. We'll just go by who put it in the chat here. Choco, pick a number between 1 and 12.
Between 1 and 12. Okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna go with my favorite Star Wars film, number 8.
Number 8. That is Skywalker's Academy. Skywalker's Academy. If you are watching still, please go to Twitter and go to ATGcast where I hang out and DM me an address and I will send you our first Sithmas package. That's awesome, dude. Congratulations. I'm assuming Star Wars Academy is a dude. Could be a dudette. Could be anybody. But thank you for hanging out and thank you for posting that. Choco, before we let you go, you got to tell us where can people find you. And by the way, are you still doing the TikTok thing? Because I love your TikToks. I know you're doing them because I just watched them this morning. But where can people find you?
Yeah, so I'm still doing the TikTok thing. So there was a long break because of the strike and all this stuff. And depression. But I'm back at it. There's going to be a lot more content to come. You can follow me as Darth Choco on TikTok. Let me make a lot more YouTube content as well. Darth Choco on YouTube. I do have a podcast. It's Diet in the Forest with my friend Element 7. And we do that Saturdays on youtube.com/Diet in the Force. And hopefully this isn't too pluggy, but we also got giveaways because Black Friday hit.
Yes.
And these things were on sale. So I got a bunch of Ahsokas to give out, as well as just a bunch of stuff. I got too much stuff and I'm moving, so
awesome. So follow Darth. I mean, honestly, I did miss a lot of your content during the strike. We couldn't do much, and I will give you kudos for following along and doing the right thing by the actors and the writers and respecting their wishes. And but your commentary, I love when you take questions from people because they're like, I think people are trying to give you zingers, and you're like, well, that's a good point, and then you talk about your perspective on it in a very cool manner. So I really appreciate your content, and I'm really glad you joined us tonight, and hopefully you'll come back sometime. In the
Thank you for inviting me. This was fun.
This was great. Chris, what's going on with Bro Axiom this week?
Well, let's see. We've got a live Shooting the Poodle on Sunday this coming week for Star Wars Comics. We've got a quick shot preview for the High Republic Adventures #1 from Phase 3, and it's amazing. I can't wait for people to read that. We've got D Squad #5. I think it's the last D Squad book. Yeah, it's the last D Squad book, part of the Dark Droid series. And then another important book, which is Star Wars number 41. Now, this one, Charles Soule has warned people to not read this comic until you've read the last issue of Dark Droids. As someone who does the previews, and I specifically do the Star Wars books, I don't know what to do. I'm very man. So I'm at a dilemma right now. But yeah, we have those 3 previews coming out, maybe. And let's see, we have Broaxium Gaming on Tuesdays now, as well as Wednesdays. Claire Stribling is going to be doing her own BX Gaming show on Tuesday, while Dan and Roke do one on Wednesday. And the Star Bros have a new episode coming out next week, so that's awesome. And then just a little peek into the future. We're gonna have another Star Wars lore show that's going to be coming out. We're still working everything out, and I have some amazing hosts. One of them is in this panel right now. And it's called right now. The working title is called Brolacron. We'll see if that sticks. We'll have to do a little committee on that one and see if everyone likes it. But so we got that, and
That is great. Well, and from around the galaxy, we have 2 guests lined up for the next 2 weeks. We will let our patrons know about that, so you can join us during the live virtual audience. We have one of a podcaster who's been around for as long as Star Wars podcasting has been around, and really excited to get their point of view. And then just sort of a fun online celebrity that we'll be talking to as well. But that's all going on. We are going to continue Sithmas next week. Maybe we can get some better participation from you all. And again, Skywalker's Academy, if you are watching or listening, head on over to Twitter, ATGcast, and find me and DM me, and we'll make sure that we get you your prize package. But until next week, gentlemen, it was great to spend an evening hanging out with you. Chris, may the Force be with you.
Always.
Just one more round, friend, then homeward bound, friend. Don't forget me in your dreams. Just one more song, friend, and then so long, friend. The nights get shorter, it seems. Just one more rhyme, friend. Yes, it's a crime, friend. But you know time, friend. Time can fly. So it's good night, friend. Good night, but not goodbye.